Hey everyone, welcome. This is Survivor 41, the finale, baby. Now, pardon me, I'm going to be eating during this. And also, pardon me if the video seems a bit choppy. I noticed that, but the reason for both of those things, eating and for it being choppy, is that I really just wanted to get this recorded as soon as possible so I don't get spoiled at all, because that would be huge for me to get the whole finale spoiled, the whole winner, you know? And so I have my phone face down over there. I was able to get the episode up without getting spoiled, so I'm where I need to be. And at this point, I'm like, as long as the video is serviceable, I just need to get my reaction and not get spoiled. As a Survivor fan, I need that. That being said, I'll talk a little bit about my hopes and dreams. All right? Look, I wouldn't be upset with any of them winning except for Heather, but obviously Heather's not winning. That's the nature of the edit there. Erica, I'm not a huge fan of her game, like, in comparison to some of the others. But Erica would win me the draft against Rusty. So, by the way, my friend Rusty and I, we did a video in the very beginning of Survivor 41 with our drafts. And so, winner takes all. He has Heather and Xander and Deshawn. So 3 out of the 5. I have Ricard and Erica though. So I think that we're on fairly even footing, all things considered, because Heather is not really a factor. So the 2v2, and all of them seem to have like relatively realistic paths to the end. I mean, they told all their stories pretty well, all things considered. And if you just look at their arc, Erica going from the one who would have been going home in Luvu if they ever went to tribal council to being the one who would have been voted out at the merge if she didn't get that twist to going on to win. That would be an epic story. Xander going from the one that Yasa wanted to get out to going through that merge tribal with that epic play and then holding on to his idol the whole time through. That would be an epic story. Ricard obviously fought tooth and nail to come out of Ua alive and was instrumental in a lot of things and ultimately got Shan out, which was huge. Deshawn, like Ricard said in the past, was a bit sloppy, but he had he's definitely had a narrative edit-wise. Like, he's driven a lot in that way, but he's also had a really compelling story of like being a part of a lot of things, not being like perfectly calculated, like he's been emotional about things, but he's ultimately been at the center of a lot. And yeah, so I'm interested I would love to see, I'm excited to see how it turns out, because I don't think it could be a really disappointing ending regardless, but I don't know, it could surprise me and disappoint me. You do have a lot of things, a lot of factors, like the fire making and the immunities are huge here. But I'm excited to see how it turns out regardless, because I think we do have some great casts for the finale here. Okay, so as always, you can click the link in the description to see the highlights of my reaction and then come back afterwards for the discussion, okay? There you have it. Wow. I didn't say much for a huge chunk of that towards the end there. I don't know if I'm just tired or what. I'm just taking it in as well because, it's interesting. I've always thought they should reveal it on the island rather than wait to go live, because then there's a lot more of a fresh reaction than like by the time you get to a live reunion. I feel like most of them have a sense of what the votes are going to be anyway, just because people talk and that's how it goes. If months pass, this way it can be a lot more raw, that's for sure. There's just so much to process. We haven't coordinated it or talked at all yet, but we are going to be doing a Survivor 41 review retrospective with Rusty and myself. Rusty, who I did a video with before the season. We're going to get back together. I won the draft. I'm happy. The one thing with Erica is that I had a family draft with my mom and my brother, in which I had Erica, and I also had a draft with Rusty, in which I had Erica. So she was the pick where I would for sure win both drafts. So I'm happy in that regard. You know, part of me was really pulling for Xander though, and I mean, Ricard would have been great. And there's so much to unpack in terms of like Ricard. I think it was literally the advantage that took him out. He would have probably won that immunity challenge. He definitely would have won that immunity challenge if Erica didn't have that advantage, because he was right there anyway. And so that gives him the final four at least. That's huge. So there's that to talk about. There's also the Xander of it all to talk about, in that he threw out the idea that he could have taken on Erica and Fire. It was really spicy. Obviously, it's a big risk, but it's going to be probably a huge regret looming over him, the fact that he could have taken Erica to Fire and probably beaten her there, and then just been him versus Erica and Deshawn, or Heather and Deshawn in the end, and he gets the slam dunk victory probably. That's huge. That's a huge mistake to unpack as well. And I mean, it was an epic fire making competition too. But it really is wild that Erica, from the outcast position, being the one to be outcasted, exiled, and to be the surefire one to go home, not only if they were to go to tribal council on Luvu, but at the merge, to go from that to turning back the hands of time, changing the history of the game, and then going on to win from that is crazy. The only thing I didn't like was that the finale kind of tipped me in that direction. You know, the Ricard of it all, his story came to an end, and then at that point, it seemed like Deshawn was kind of dead in the water a bit, and then Xander had some epic moments and had a whole flashback sequence. So I'm like, okay, they're not going to do a whole flashback sequence for the winner. So it kind of left me with thinking Erica was going to be the winner there. But then after the arguments, you know, Xander presented himself well, Erica presented herself well, so I almost thought it was between those two. And that Deshawn might be a 0-vote finalist. But, I mean, Deshawn got 1 vote, Xander got 0, and Erica got all the others. So it was basically 2 losers, 1 winner. It wasn't like one person was left out of it. It was really just that Erica won. So it's huge that Xander probably could have won this game if he made the fire-making decision differently. And that advantage, Erica got that advantage, and that could have meant everything for her as well. It's so huge. Wow. While I would have preferred Ricard as a winner, or probably Xander as the winner, I'm looking forward to unpacking Erica's journey and Erica as a winner a little bit. We'll probably do that more in the review. I'm not going to go into too much detail now because I am really tired. But I'm glad I was able to see it without getting spoiled. And really some interesting stuff to unpack and talk about for sure. So thanks for watching. So if you enjoyed this video, check out the finale of Survivor Vanuatu, a reaction to that. And also keep in mind that at the same time as I've been going through this season, we've also been going through Survivor Palau. Me and my friend Alec, who has not seen Survivor and is not watching current seasons of Survivor. He's only seen up to Palau at this point. So that's a fun journey we're going on. 2 very different eras of Survivor. It's very jarring to go back and forth between them. But yeah, check that out. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our podcast feed, like the video, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like us on Facebook at Tarqaron TWO. All right.